Hi there, folks. Welcome to Truck King and Happy New Year. It is now officially 2025, and it is time for us to reveal our Truck of the Year. So let's waste no time. We have chosen this year the new Ford Ranger. Now we're going to break down in detail why we chose the Ford Ranger, but before we do that, let me first walk you through our methodology and then also why we didn't pick the other trucks. We'll just quickly touch on that as well. So first of all, we tested these trucks throughout the year in 2024, and you might be saying, hey, the Ranger was actually a 2024 model year truck when it was introduced. That is true, but we didn't drive it early enough in 2023 to name it Truck of the Year last year. So the reason why these trucks are all competing this year is straight up because we were just able to get into them this past year. So if you're wondering about the timing, it's just all about when we get a chance to drive things. Now let's talk about the truck specifically. I'll start with the Ram 1500, which I think was probably the closest truck outside the Ranger to winning. We really like that new Ram 1500, but the reason it didn't win is, hey, first of all, they got rid of a fan favorite, the Hemi, and then they added that new engine, the Hurricane. It's a great power plant, but they didn't do a ton of other stuff except for add, a new crazy luxury trim, which is beautiful, but it just didn't feel like they went far enough with that Ram.
Some of the other ones that we looked at, for instance, the Toyota. Now last year, Toyota Tacoma was our truck of the year. This year we looked at Tacoma again, specifically because of the hybrid power plant, because we never really had a chance to deal with that when the truck first launched. However, in hindsight, having had the whole year to have a look at a new truck release, interesting things came up, and not necessarily for us, even though we did have a clutch problem early on in the spring with a Tacoma, but there have been other quality and reliability issues, and there's no doubt that that factored into how we felt about it. So even though TRD Pro, Trail Hunter, very competent trucks, we just felt that for some reason Toyota as a brand has slipped a little bit, certainly in the perception that customers have of their reliability. That's why it didn't make the cut.
Yeah, so the next truck we didn't pick was the Silverado and Sierra EV. Once again, excellent products. We really like those trucks, but there's still the entire problem with just owning an EV, the pain points of charging, the pain points of range while towing. And then this is a bit of a problem with all these trucks, but especially on these EV trucks, the base pricing is just so expensive. So yeah, good product, but definitely didn't stand out enough to pick that as our truck of the year either.
Ford F-150 also made some mild improvements this year. And quite frankly, that again, when I looked at that versus the Ranger, which did a lot in a very, very popular market segment, versus the F-150, which kind of did a couple of things, I think mostly so that they could grab a few headlines and say, hey, look at us, we're doing something too. So that did not feel to me like they deserved to be rewarded with the top spot.
Yeah, and that's why we didn't pick those. And then I'll piggyback off of that, Dad. One of the reasons why we like this Ranger for sure is because this is a brand new truck. Clean sheet design. Arguably, that's the hardest way to redesign a truck. And this thing came out and basically improved on the previous Ranger in every single way.
It's true, when Ranger came back, it did well, but don't forget, what we were getting was the European quote-unquote version of the Ranger, or the World Ranger, which was already available in other markets. So when it came to us, it was not new. Furthermore, when you looked at the original styling versus what they've done now, they've injected some more North American DNA back into that truck. Something that was a little bit missing in the earlier version. So, you know what? It's nice to see that Ford considers, North America as home and is doing the right things for our truck buyers.
So yeah, let's talk about sort of the ways the Ranger really stands out. So to me, the first one is in the powertrain department. So in the midsize segment, the Ranger has more engines than any other truck out there, and they're all quite good. Even that base EcoBoost feels more powerful than the old EcoBoost in the Ranger did. So even the base engine feels really good, and then you can still step up to that V6. We did a fuel economy test with it, still really modest fuel economy for the amount of power you're getting. And then of course, if you want to really go all out, you get into the Ranger Raptor, and that gets its own special power plant, 400 horsepower in a mid-size truck. Ford never skimps out with those top trim off-road models. They know it's a Raptor, it needs a special engine, and the Ranger Raptor has that. So yes, when it comes to the power plants, I do think just having more choices than everybody else makes the Ranger, more desirable.
I just wanted to mention too that as an overarching kind of observation, Ford, over the last couple of years, every once in a while, somebody of substance says, Ford is now a truck company. That's them saying it as well as us saying it. And with the exception of the Mustang, that's what they are. They are a truck company. Now, if you're going to, hang your success on one line of products, you can't screw it up. All right? And hence, we've seen the Maverick, unparalleled success in terms of bringing back a compact pickup. The Ranger is also becoming the go-to choice for those people that just can't quite stomach the price on the F-150 or the size. So I think this Ranger is going to continue to sell and dominate in that market moving forward.
Sure. So then other specifics, things that really stand out to me, Dad. First of all, the back seat. I think I can confidently say this is the best back seat in the midsize segment. And for a lot of people, maybe that doesn't matter. If you have a family, that's a huge deal because that is what's going to make your decision on, do I get the F-150 or stick with the Ranger? Generally, yes, maybe you need to tow something bigger, but a lot of people just want a bigger cab. So now you get in the Ranger and go, you know what? This is big enough. So that back seat is definitely a big deal. And then I do think we have to go out of our way to talk about the Ranger Raptor. I just did an off-road video with that
Absolutely.
thing, and my whole conclusion was it might not be the absolute best midsize off-roader, probably is, but the Chevy's quite good as well, so is the TRD Pro. But what it is the most special feeling midsize off-roader because of the power plant, because of the suspension differences, because of the styling, everything on the interior. It just doesn't feel like a regular Ranger anymore, and especially at high speeds, that thing is ridiculous. Also, the only truck in this segment to have active suspension where everyone else has passive. So, yeah, when you're looking at that Raptor, man, is it ever good and fun at high speeds. The handling's incredible. I don't really have a bad thing to say about it.
No, I agree totally with you. And I always extrapolate things when you got a company that pays so much attention to a particular model that does, say, off-roading, and it does it really, really well. And it's not just, stickers and plastic, add-ons. Well, that kind of engineering trickles down throughout the entire portfolio. These guys want to build the best possible truck. And I'm seeing those improvements because that's the weird thing. Like I drove this new Ranger and I'm like, just everything about it, I was like, yeah, this is good. Ask me to define that as one particular thing because it was just a driving feel. I can't. But I can tell you overall, yeah, man, every hour I spent in that truck was a good hour.
Yeah. Well, folks, there you have it. 2025 is the year of the Ford Ranger. And I'll actually be really curious, Dad, to follow sales of the Ranger in 2024 because we do know that Tacoma is down. I don't think it's going to give up its #1 spot, but it'll probably be closer than ever. And the previous Ranger for a couple years was in that #2 spot. So if there was ever a time when Ford could maybe take that #1 midsize spot from Toyota, it's going to be next year in 2025. So I'll be very curious to follow that story, see how this truck does moving forward. But yeah, I think Ford did an excellent job. And we also have to remember, this is a worldwide product. So Ford did North Americanize it, but they're also selling this same truck everywhere else on the planet. And that's honestly a harder thing to do because you have to build a truck that works for everybody, unlike these other companies, like with the Tacoma, for example, that's only sold in North America. So with all that in mind, congratulations to Ford. The Ranger's a heck of a truck.
That's true, Steve. Frankly, this is the best Ranger they've had since the Ranger went away. So very happy to see it back. I am betting that they're going to close on that #1 spot this year.
Yeah.
So again, congrats to Ford.
Yeah, folks, so that's it for this one. Of course, we need to hear from you now. Please weigh in, drop in the comments. Let us know what you think of the Ford Ranger. Of all the trucks we tested, would you have picked one of the other ones? Please let us know your thoughts. We want to read them, and we do read all those comments.
Every day.
As always, while you're down there, don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit join to become a member, and then come right back here to the channel because 2025 is just starting and we got lots of new trucks to test to get ready for our Truck of the Year next year. Thanks, folks.
See ya.